Please read us a story, old bear. We'll all gather round. Dear old bear, sit in your favorite chair. We'll sit all around, dear old bear.
The sun shone through the window and woke Little Bear. "What a lovely morning," he said to himself. "I'll do something different today." He jumped down from the bed, took off his pajamas, and looked for his trousers. He looked on the chair where he'd left them, and he looked on the floor under the chair. And then he looked through the chest of drawers in case they were there. But they weren't. They were nowhere. "But they must be somewhere," said Little Bear. "Trousers don't disappear." "I'll go and ask Old Bear. He'll know where they are." Old Bear was already enjoying the sun in his deck chair. "I haven't seen your trousers, I'm afraid," he said. "But Camel was around here earlier. Perhaps she knows where they are." "Thank you, Old Bear," said Little Bear, and he set off to find Camel. "Oh dear," said Camel, when Little Bear found her a few minutes later. "I did find them. I thought they were a pair of hump warmers, and I tried them on to see if they fitted me. They did keep my humps quite warm, but the air came down the tops, so I decided these were better." She showed Little Bear 2 very smart bobble hats, one for each hump. "I gave the old hump warmers to Sailor. Jump on my back, and let's see if we can find him." Little Bear scrambled up. They set off in the direction of the bathroom. Sailor was busy sailing his boat in the wash basin when Dog came by. "Ahoy there, Sailor," called Dog. "Have you got anything up there that I could keep my bones in?" "Try these," came the reply. Sailor lowered his sail and dropped Little Bear's trousers over the side of the wash basin. "They're not much use to me." He was still happily playing about when Little Bear and Camel arrived. Little Bear quickly jumped off Camel's back and clambered up to see if Sailor had his trousers. "Oh, yes, I did use them as sails," he said, "but they look too much like trousers." "That's because they are trousers," said Little Bear crossly. "Where are they now?" "I gave them to Dog to keep his bones in," said Sailor. "Sorry, Little Bear." Not far away, Rabbit was returning a bone to Dog. "Oh dear," said Dog. "My bones keep falling through the ends of these." "Never mind," said Rabbit. "Could I have them to use as a skiing hat? They're just what I'm looking for." "Help yourself," said Dog. "They're not much use to me." By the time Little Bear had found Dog, he was happily burying his bones in flower pots. "You see," he explained, "my bones kept falling through the 2-bone bone holder." "2-bone bone holder?" cried Little Bear in dismay. "Oh, Dog, can't you recognize trousers when you see them?" "Oh dear," said Dog, "I do feel silly. I gave them to Rabbit. He said he needed a skiing hat. Your trousers look perfect. I'm sorry." Rabbit was poised at the top of the stairs, ready to begin his descent. "Whee!" cried Rabbit, as he shot down the banisters on his 2 lolly-stick skis. But oh dear, suddenly his new hat slipped over his eyes. Rabbit wobbled, and with a great crash, he found himself in a heap on the hall floor, looking up at a rather startled Zebra. "Are you all right, Rabbit?" she asked. "You did give me a fright. I was just looking for something to put my bricks in." "Well, do use my hat," said Rabbit. "I think my skiing is better without it." Rabbit tied up the ends with string and helped Zebra fill the trousers with the bricks she needed for her house. Then he went back to his skiing without a hat. That's where Little Bear found him, sometime later. "I did have your trousers," he explained, "but I gave them to Zebra. She's over there somewhere, building herself a house." "Oh, yes," said Zebra. "I used them to carry these bricks in. But when I had enough to build a house, I gave them to Duck to use as a flag for his sandcastle. I'm sorry, Little Bear. I didn't know they belonged to you." Duck was in the sand tray, looking sadly at the castle he'd made. There was no trouser flag on the top now. "Zebra said you took my trousers for a flag." "I did use the flag that Zebra gave me," he sighed. "But Bramble Brown came and said it was just what he needed urgently in the kitchen. He gave me this paper flag to use instead." "Never mind," said Little Bear with a sigh, feeling quite glad that his trousers were not covered in sand. The kitchen was in a terrible muddle. There were bowls and spoons and eggs and flour, and in the middle of it all sat Bramble Brown. He had Little Bear's trousers, but, oh dear, he'd filled them with pink icing and was busy decorating a huge cake with them. "What is that?" gasped Little Bear. "It's a special occasion cake," said Bramble, "and you have to put icing on special occasion cakes." "Not that," said Little Bear, "those." "Well, I thought I could do 2 stripes at once with these special icing bags." "But they're not icing bags. They're my trousers," sniffed Little Bear, trying hard not to cry. "I thought I'd seen them before," said Bramble Brown. "Don't worry, Little Bear," said Old Bear, who always arrived at the right moment. "The icing will wash out and they'll look as good as new." "What's the special occasion cake for?" asked Little Bear, feeling a bit more cheerful at this news. "Well, I didn't really know," said Bramble. "I just felt like making one." Old Bear thought hard. "Perhaps it ought to be a Trousers Day cake," he suggested helpfully. So that's what Bramble Brown drew on the cake, using the icing from the left trouser leg, and then using the icing from the right trouser leg. Duck washed Little Bear's trousers and dried them next to the cooker. Then Bramble Brown sat down to cut the cake, with all the toys gathered around him. There was plenty for everyone, and they all agreed it was a delicious cake, and a very good way to celebrate the day that Little Bear had lost and found his trousers. And ever since Trousers Day, Little Bear has slept with his trousers under his pillow. "Nobody will find them there," he says.